Right, in you get. In the oven. Go on. Yes, they eat dogs in Vietnam. No, we're not eating Bella. At least not yet. Every time I mention I'm taking Bella to Vietnam, the first thing anyone says to me, especially if they're over 50, is, oh, you know, they eat dogs out there. Yes, they do. But they also have them as pets, just like me and you. They have pet hotels, they have pooch pampering parlours, vets, everything. It's completely normal, okay? So first things first, don't worry about that. Your dog's going to be fine. Although, to be honest, if their dog tastes half as good as their pork. Anyway, we're going to quickly get to the points you need to know if you want to move your dog to Vietnam. Number one, how are you going to get there? Well, it will be on an aeroplane. I'll tell you that because I have done every bit of research you can think of. I started out with boats, thought maybe I could put her on a cruise ship, have a bit of a cruise, like I'm an octogenarian. And there's only one cruise ship that allows pets. Bella, come up here. Sorry, there's only one boat that allows dogs on it, and that's the Queen Mary, which goes from England to America, which is no good to us. I looked at driving, but that requires going through so many borders that don't allow dogs, don't allow you. It's impossible. So then all that leaves is airplanes. And when you get to airplanes, there are 3 ways you can take a dog on an airplane. Number one, if it's small, you're going to breathe into the microphone, baby. If they're small, I take them as carry-on, but they need to be under 6 kilos, including the bag they're in, bag or box, whatever it is, right? Under 6 kilos. There's no way this is going for under 6 kilos. She's about 17 and a half, so that's no good for me. The second way is you can take them on a private jet. That's about 12 or 14 grand. I don't have 12 or 14 grand. The other way is in cargo. That means in a crate, in the plane. They're not with the bags and the suitcases. They're their own separate compartment that is climate controlled. They will be absolutely fine. And I've spoken to numerous people about this. So Karens, before you jump in the comments section telling me, I would never put my baby in a box in a cargo hold. Neither would I if I had a choice, but I don't have one because, as I just said, this is the only way to do it. And I've spoken to a number of people. That was Bella, not me. I've spoken to a number of people, 2 women in particular, who are proper nervous Nellies, which they identify themselves as, and they were scared shitless when they came, one from Australia to England and one from England to America. They were both terrified that their dogs weren't going to make it, were going to be, broken. But both of them said they came out and after an hour, they were fine. Sure, they didn't enjoy the trip, and Vietnam is 12 hours, maybe 12 and a half, so it is a long trip in a box. But in all the research I've done, on all the people I've spoken to on Facebook, on Instagram, and in the flesh, I think dogs are a lot more resilient than we give them credit for. Of course, there are horror stories of dogs not making it on planes, but I feel like they're somewhat historic. And again, the data and research I've put together, dogs are just as safe as humans. So I think they'll be fine. Obviously, we'll film Bella when she gets out of the plane and we'll know for sure, won't we? Luckily, they have no quarantine in Vietnam, so you don't need to leave her there for ages. And they don't need a pet passport either. That's good. But you do need a fair chunk of paperwork. Number 2, you need to start considering the requirements for the dog. First one is age. They need to be at least 10 weeks old. Most people recommend 3 to 6 months, which I would agree with. I think the older the better, although obviously not too old, because they might be a little bit frail and it is a long journey, like I said. So it's up to you. You know your dog. You know how fit and well it is. They will need to be chipped. And so if your dog is not chipped, why not? Get it chipped now. Get these things done. Start the ball rolling. You will also need from your vet a health certificate and a rabies vaccination card. A lot of this stuff comes on the same card. Depends how your vet does things, but most vets should have a card. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is that you can't just have a printout or an image of it, which I originally did. You need the actual physical card to bring with you. So make sure you get that from your vet. Make sure she's up to date on all her vaccinations, really. I think they like to see that she's been cared for. So again, get on that. You should give yourself, a few months to prepare for this. So plan all that out. Actually, that's another little tip. Give yourself 6 months at least to prepare for this, because there's so much paperwork to go through, so much thinking and planning, So that's what I've ended up doing. That's worked out. 6 months has worked out pretty well. So that would be my number for that. Number 3. What was number 3? We're just waiting for the pub to open. Now, if all that sounds like a bit of a nightmare, it's because it is. So I would absolutely recommend that you get an exporter, and by virtue of that you'll need an importer as well, but the importer will take care of everything. So in times of stress, throw some money at the problem. Bella is going to cost about £3,000, thanks Bella, which is quite a lot of money. But I tell you what, I made so many mistakes. When I finally went to an exporter, I told them that I've got my crate, I've got my paperwork, and they said the crate is wrong, Vietnam won't let you in with that. And the paperwork was wrong because I'd asked my vet for an image and they'd sort of written up a vaccine thing for me, which was wrong. So I would have got to Vietnam and all that would have been at the window, and who knows, Bella could have got sent back, I don't know. So absolutely get an exporter. They will build a bespoke crate for your dog, they will take care of all the paperwork, they will talk to the importer. I mean, this is what these people do for a living, you know, so let them do their job, they're good at it. It's certainly taken a lot of the stress off of my mind, which is the main thing, right? I'm worried about the dog. So anything that can ease your stress about the dog, I think is worth them every penny. You will then need an importer at the other end, and the exporter and importer will work together. Again, they know each other. I'm using Pet Air for my exporter and Pet Adventures my importer. They know each other, they've worked together before, they all know the customs people, it will run smoothly. I've heard of people trying to do this before and ending up with their dog being in the airport for 2 days, all sorts of things. So get an exporter and importer, it is worth the money. Go number 4, the crate for your dog. Now, as I say, if you get an exporter, which you should, they will build a crate and get the right crate for you. However, you still need to crate train your dog. So ahead of time, buy a crate to get your dog ready for it. If your dog is already crated at home, I know some people have their dogs in crates when they're home, it's their bed, then you'll be fine. But if not, get a crate, get your dog used to it. It's going to be a long trip, they need to feel comfortable in that crate. I will go through the crate training and everything else for that on a separate video. Number 5. Here's the big one that a lot of people don't think about, is what to expect for your dog from Vietnam. What's it going to be like for him or her? Do dogs have they, them? I'm not sure. What's it going to be like for your pet living in Vietnam? Well, the first thing is obviously it's going to be bloody hot. So before you get there, make sure you've sorted out a vet and a groomer. Because I cut Bella, she's got a cockapoo. She gets really thick curly fur. I cut that every 6 weeks. In Vietnam, I'm going to do it every 2. Again, I'll probably take her to a vet when I get there to get her checked out. They do that at the airport, but I think it's good to have one because, you know, they'll get there, they could eat something off the street. It could be completely new to their digestive system. Who knows what could happen? So have a vet ready, have a groomer ready. Other things you need to consider. New rules came in recently. All dogs need to be on a leash and wear a muzzle. Now, a few people have said to me, I don't muzzle mine, it's fine. Some have been fined by the local constabulary. So, like, as with all things, do it right the first time. And when you get there, if everybody's walking around with their dogs on leads without muzzles, fine. When in Rome, but make sure you're covered. So again, like most things, Bella's never worn a muzzle. So I'm training over that. Buy the muzzle ahead of time, get her used to it. These are things you can deal with now that you won't need to deal with all at once when you get to Vietnam. When I talk about the heat, obviously you want to take your dog for a walk outside of the hottest parts of the day. That means before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m. So think about that. Think about that, how that's going to affect your life, whether you've got a job, whatever you need to do. You need to take the dog out early and take her out late. Check on Facebook, check on Instagram, check with people you might know. Find out where it's okay to walk dogs. Because the thing that surprised me was parks, most of them, the vast majority, don't even allow dogs in them. So you can't take them there. Beaches they're funny about as well. Yeah, this is research you're going to have to do. I've looked at Nha Trang. A lot of people say one end of the beach, early hours is okay. But after that, keep them on a leash, keep them on a muzzle. However, I was in Nha Trang about 3 months ago. Saw loads of dogs running around on the beach. Maybe they were wild. This is the thing. Vietnam have got a wild dog problem. So this is why they're stepping up their rules. But yeah, just check that out. Make sure you're ready and prepared for that and how it's going to affect your dog. Somebody mentioned the paw pads. This is a terrible idea. Don't get them paw pads. As most of you probably know, I'm I hope, is that they regulate the temperature through their paws. So by putting paw pads on, it's like me or you wearing a 3-piece woolen suit in the summer. Not something you want to do. General rule is, if it's too hot for your bare feet, it's too hot for theirs. Just use your common sense. I'm also going to take a spray bottle with me, I think, to begin with, and spray her down all the time. I'm really worried she's going to overheat, because overheating dogs is a real problem. They tend to overheat quickly because they can't sweat. So you've really got to be careful. It's not like taking a child or an old lady out. How often I do that, I'm not sure. But, you know, that humans will tell you that they're overheating. They give signs. Plus, they can sweat. You can see them sweating. Dogs, they just pant. They pant all the time anyway, right? Bella's always panting. Look. She's panting now. It's like 16 degrees. She's probably going to melt. Yeah, that's really it for what you need for dogs. We are going to talk about what you need in another video, but next I'm going to do some specific crate training. And I'll add any details in the description that I've forgotten, plus everything I've just said. And yeah, let's go and take some B-roll.